You would think often a low to the ground creature deck would usually just fold over to a sweeper. But that wasn't the case with this deck. Cards like the Ranger Captain of Eos, the fact that some of your creatures are Thraben Inspectors and Collected Company means that sweepers aren't all that effective.
I can't even look at this opening
Or
hand
less
from
effective.
Sigrist. Look at this thing, blading the Risen Emergent Ultimatum. Like, what is happening here?
Yeah, so this is a Matt Nass special. Unsurprisingly, a very linear combo deck. Mike Sigrist also happens to be kind of on that same testing team. And they are playing against what they believe to be the worst possible matchup. If you want to talk about polarized matchups in Historic, this might be one of them, as I believe that Autumn has something probably like an 80-20 edge in this matchup.
Incredible.
Because the combination of just a quick clock and then disruption, right? Cards like Esper Sentinel, Thalia, even Ranger Captain, by the way, which just completely shuts off the combo for what this deck is trying to do.
Incredible. You know, it's interesting because you mentioned the combination of disruption plus pressure, but some of the cards you mentioned are both of those things, right? That's the key.
Yeah.
Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, is both. She takes good chunks of life total starting early while also disrupting you, where a lot of other decks, wow, okay, return 3 cards for Sigrist. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, look at his opener fall. Like, what life decisions led you to this, Mike? You've got Riverglide Pathway, Emergent Ultimatum, Mystics Mastery.
I think it was
solve the equation.
I think it was, you know, hey, at least my matches will be quick no matter what. So
well, this one's going to be very quick.
Oh, jeez.
Goodness sakes. Okay, well, this is the tough one for Mike. So he's mulliganed 3 times, and he's now facing a beautiful curve out here for Autumn as she smashes for 5 off of 2 mana on turn 3 here.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like Autumn had the ideal hand too, right? Autumn's missed the land drop here, but the thing is, Siggy's deck just has almost no interaction.
Right.
So you need to curve out perfectly.
I mean, like, how is it that, you know, you're facing down lethal and you draw an Omniscience that, by the way, has an extra mana tax added to it? Like, never where you want to be. So Sigrist is going to get absolutely rolled in that first game. Autumn Burchett picks up game number 1. But let's go to sideboards here. Let's see if Mike can, not mulligan 3 times. That was really, really tough. I'm sure this deck mulligans, you know, more than the average deck, right? Looking for pieces and stuff. But come on, you know, going down to 4 cards is always tough.
Yeah, of course. And as you can see, after sideboard, you have access to a lot more removal. You see the 4 copies of Rip Apart along with the Anger of the Gods. So he should have a little more in the way of interaction here. But before this match, which may be over in the next 5 minutes, I want to at least talk about the combo that this deck is trying to assemble.
The theoretical combo?
The theoretical combo. So as you can see here, Mike Sigrist has both 4 copies of Faithless Looting, Faithful Mending, and also Prismari Command and Cathartic Pyre. And basically what you really want to do is either put Emergent Ultimatum or Dragonstorm into your graveyard. Okay. Once you do, this is basically a Mizzix's Mastery combo deck. You cast Mizzix's Mastery, then you either get Dragonstorm from your graveyard, or you cast Emergent Ultimatum. There is no actual way to hard cast Emergent Ultimatum in this deck, but what you want to do is cast Mizzix's Mastery on Emergent Ultimatum. 95% of the time, what you're going to get is Omniscience, Solve the Equation, and Dragonstorm. Of course, if you give your opponent Dragonstorm, you lose the game. But if you give them Omniscience and Solve the Equation, they simply cast Omniscience, then cast Solve the Equation, then cast Dragonstorm. So you basically,
and now they even just up their storm count.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Once you do that, then you cast Dragonstorm, and basically what you're trying to do is get Terror of the Peaks into play, then 2 copies of Bladewing the Risen, have them continue to legend roll loop each other, reviving each other from the graveyard, and Terror of the Peaks will basically just deal infinite damage to the opponent. That's what this deck's trying to do, but Autumn's deck is probably one of the best decks at trying to disrupt all of that from happening. Not only do you have Thalia to make things very awkward for you, but also just the card Ranger Captain of Eos. If Mike casts Mizzix's Mastery and targets a Dragonstorm, you can then sacrifice the Ranger Captain in response, and then Mike just can't cast the card out of the graveyard.
Wow, that is brutal. Man, this matchup is extraordinarily tough here for Sigrist. Let's see if he can put up a fight. No, he's gonna mulligan that one.
Jeez.
He already
These
had the
hands.
Dragonstorm in hand. It's pretty tough. And geez, another one. What is happening with Sigrist? I mean, look, this is a somewhat clunky combo deck, admittedly, but like these are horrendous openers for him. And there's the card that he's been looking for the whole time, the Faithless Looting, that he would absolutely love to have had in any of those hands because it can clean up the mess for him. Now, what about Autumn's hand? What is she working with here?
Well, it looks like Autumn's likely going to go to 5? No, 4.
Wow.
Okay.
Return 3 cards. I can't remember the last match we've had both players mulligan to 4, especially with 2 completely different archetypes going against each other. Mike says, okay, so you're telling me I got a chance.
Yeah, but Autumn also has a fantastic sideboard card for this matchup. Remember, this is a Mizzix's Mastery Dragonstorm combo deck. And Autumn's 4-card hand has now become Esper Sentinel, Rest in Peace, and Thalia.
Oh my god. Just tax, tax, tax. Nothing's going to be cheap or easy here for Sigrist as he puts himself in a position to at least get Shatterskull Smashing on the stack at some point. Maybe?
Yeah, and Autumn just deciding which 2-drop to play here. Do I want to play out the Thalia and get in for a little more damage here? Or do I want to go with Rest in Peace?
It is going to be the Thalia. You can see we've got the advantage bar on the left-hand side, too. If you're new to Magic, if competitive Magic is something that you're exploring, trying to figure out, the advantage bar will just give you an idea of how ahead or behind one of the players is, because sometimes people look at the life totals for that, and oftentimes that doesn't tell the full story of who's actually winning.
Yeah, and now Autumn might...
Rip.
Likely knowing that Anger of the Gods is a potential card that Mike can have. Don't want to overextend necessarily, and then also just cast out that Rest in Peace to deal with the graveyard. So now, not only does Mike need to deal with the pressure that's being put on him here, he also needs to find a Rip Apart to kill the Rest in Peace before he finds the combo.
Yowza.
So a lot of hoops that he needs to go through here.
Well, in this turn, it's just going to be land go here from Sigrist. And wow, there's Hamlet Vanguard now for Autumn Burchett. Whoa. I heard you like pressure.
Yeah, and I've been really impressed by this creature. And oftentimes, this is just a 3-mana 5/5, a 3-mana 7/7. It's really, really tough to kill, and it just really puts so much pressure. So, if you take a look at Autumn's list, she's playing 3 copies of this card in her list, choosing to just be as aggressive as possible with her particular build of humans.
Yeah, sweet 3-drop human payoff from Crimson Vow. And as you mentioned, it's difficult to kill on multiple levels, right? This is the type of card that she can run out into a card like Anger of the Gods and just be like, that's just big enough. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That clock is getting oppressive very quickly here from Autumn Burchett. This matchup so far, I want to remind you, Paul, Autumn's on 4. Like, what is going on? Autumn's on 4, and this hasn't felt close at all. I mean, mulligans for Mike as well, to be fair.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this Prismari command, we're going to see a loot here, and it's going to have to do a lot here. Remember, we need Rip Apart for the Rest in Peace. Then we need to find a way to put a Dragonstorm or Ultimatum into the graveyard. He does have the Mastery, so he does need to find a looting effect here as well, after he also finds Rip Apart.
Really tough. I mean, Mike's looking at it like, well, I don't want to keep Shatterskull Smashing in hand, but I need it, at least potentially. But the Smashing's also never going to answer the Hamlet Vanguard, not this game. Finally got rid of Thalia, but bang, bang. And this one looks like it's just about in the books. That is lethal here for Autumn, so Mike must deal with the creature. So
we're going to see a smashing for... this is so painful, because if you're smashing for 2, Autumn's going to draw 2 cards here.
Oh, no.
Oh, excuse me, Thalia is dead, so only 1 card.
Oh, only 1. Oh, okay.
Only 1. Oh,
the one. Oh, and there's Thalia's Lieutenant, which is no, not quite lethal though, right?
Nope.
No, collected
this
company
might-
off the top though. That could be lethal.
The thing is, I don't think you need to go for lethal here, right? Mike is so far away from winning. You can just attack with the Vanguard and pass with collected company up.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that way, if I don't know what could happen to the Vanguard, but if something did, then you could just Coco and
Right.
realistically have lethal. I mean, you need to hit one creature effectively.
The thing is, there are there's one copy of Wrath of God in Mike's deck. What you don't want to do is main phase company to somehow try to hit 2 Thalia's lieutenants and then not get there, and then Mike just cast Wrath of God, right? So
Right. So it looks like Autumn just says, okay, you're at 2. Don't kill me. Here's Faithless Looting, and
yeah.
is there an answer? There's a rip apart.
Oh,
Just,
yeah.
just enough, but it looks like the
Nope.
collected company. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, if that Rest in Peace wasn't in play, we would have seen the combo, right? But yeah.
Yeah, it's just the order that these cards came out, and Mike says, well, you know what? I got that Rest in Peace off the battlefield, and I want that known for all of history. In the meantime, it's collected company with Hamlet Vanguard already on the battlefield, and that's a GG for Mike Sigrist as Autumn Burchett smashes him. I mean, that was tough. It felt also, to me at least, Paul, like Mike